Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk a little bit about possibly two, maybe three, four shooters. Possibly, right? Anything is possible. And we're also going to discuss why there were so many people there dressed the same, right? You had two or three guys that were all dressed the same. Well, diversions, possibly. Now, I also found something else that a lot of people don't realize. The shooter was already on the roof, uh, but in a different position when Charlie got there and started throwing the hats out into the crowd. If you stop and look at that footage, you can see the shooter on the roof straight down the middle of the tent. And then he moves, right? He's probably hanging out there, checking everything out, seeing if he can get a shot off if he goes up above. I wouldn't doubt if he went above on the top roof, looked, it came down, waited, you know, for Charlie to get there and everyone to get there. And then once he seen Charlie showed up and he was there and he was throwing the hats out there and everything, the guy moves from that part of the roof and goes up to the top level. So, and somebody said there was a drone there, but I don't think it was a drone, uh, from the security team that was there. And what's really crazy is the roof that or not Charlie, Tyler was on. Actually, you can walk to the campus police department. It is actually connected to the university police department. So, yeah, numerous things. You got too many people. You got people saying it sounded like an air rifle, which it probably wasn't an air rifle. It was probably a very small caliber at that. A 22 would do similar things to that, right? A 22. Why a lot of people uh, talk about the 22 up close is because it's a soft bullet, it's small, and once it goes in, it flattens out and it ricochets everywhere inside you. So it just turns your brains into scrambled eggs. And a lot of people don't understand that. People are like, well, it's a really low caliber. Yeah, it is. But that's what's funny about a 22. A 22 is not hard enough where it'll go through bone, it'll ricochet off the bone. So it might hit in one spot, but it'll ricochet off of the bone and just go through your body, tearing it up. So that's another thing that we're going to talk about. Hopefully, you folks can hear me okay. Now, let's look at some other stuff here. Now, I was watching a heavy duty country. Stupid thing. And he was talking about the trajectory of the shot. Here's what I think. If this thing was truly, like they're saying, uh, professional. Yeah, I seen that yesterday too. We're going to take a look here because you can see Danny is saying that there's something coming up in this. Oh, hold on a minute. Let me switch over here. All right, a lot of people think they see a muzzle blast here, but this is a window right here, and what it's doing is reflecting. It's reflecting. See the guy standing right here with the hat on or whatever? That's him right there in the window. It's a reflection of him. But another thing That was very. Oh, let me click over so you can see that. There you go. Pray for. Yeah. So I don't think that's a muzzle blast. A lot of people are saying, well, we think that's a muzzle blast. I don't think so. I think it's a reflection of somebody in the crowd, just like we're seeing the reflection of the guy that's standing there. You can see his reflection in the window. So I don't think it's that. And let's post Danny's channel in my chat real quick. So I really don't think that's a muzzle blast. I know what you're saying. I looked at that too and seen it right up in the corner here and thought that it was a muzzle blast. It's possible he got hit from the side. You know, we talked about that a couple days ago on this channel. So that's true. I would agree with that 100%. But here's the thing. Uh, we would have seen more people coming bum rushing from this area. Hold on, I'm trying to get over to Danny's there so I can post his channel in my chat. But I seen this same footage that he's showing here, and that's what I thought too. But they it up on my TV, and you could tell it's a reflection of somebody. Someone is standing up here on the higher levels up here, and it's reflecting. That's a massive window, and if you look, if that's the muzzle blast everyone's talking about, it's too high up close to the window, and that window would have been blown out. People would have been like, it definitely came from there because that whole window would have been blown out. So, you know, do I still think he might have been hit from the behind, from behind him? Oh, yeah, it's possible. If this was professional and all planned, there might have been many people there knowing that he was going to be there that day. And whether they communicated with each other or not, I imagine whoever set this up communicated with these people. So this is probably what they were hoping they would have seen when they tried to hit Trump. Many people there. There was no way he was walking out of there alive. And what do you do to do that? Well, you got many shooters there, right? And it's very possible that there was a small caliber there and it fired and it missed. And we might be able to see that in the video that we were looking at yesterday when I was saying there's the bullet. That might have been a small caliber, right? If you have many shooters there, one guy might have tried to hit him, missed, and the other shooter seen he missed, and the other shooter took the shot and hit him in the back of the head and dropped him. Yeah, very possible. And I imagine there probably was more there ready to take the shot if the second shooter didn't connect. One of the shooters connected. The other one might have been a diversion for the other one to get a clean shot out of nowhere. Hit him from behind, hit him out of nowhere. And that's what might have happened. All right, let's take a look at a couple other things. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, yeah, it's impossible. Nothing is impossible. I don't know how many times you got to tell these people, you got power. Nothing is impossible. Nothing. All right, hold on. I'm looking for some more. And it does make sense that he might have got hit from behind, the way his head uh, goes to the one side and he recoils, right? He gets hit and his body feels it and his nerves and muscles and everything tense up. And he don't even realize, and he might have got hit in the chest with a small caliber. And that was part of it, right? That was hold on a minute, folks. We're going to see if we can find some more of this footage. I had a whole bunch of it yesterday.
I don't think people.
Oh, here we go with that.
Former CDC director.
Let me just type in Charlie. I think I already got it. All right, let's see what we can find here. All right.
Violence. Great.
Well, he goes forward a little bit, but then he comes backwards. So yeah, it's very possible from behind or upper, you know, upper section behind or from the side. He wasn't really like sideways to him, but he was up in the bleachers or something maybe. Now I've seen another video today where there's a guy standing by that guy with the white hat on and the t-shirt that's behind Charlie off to the side. And there's a guy behind him that is in the bleachers standing next to a woman. And I would say, yes, it does look like he puts his phone away and pulls out a pistol and takes one shot. Pop. And he puts it back in his pants. And that's it. So, yeah, that might have been him. Now, if it's anything else, there was one other channel I'll show you because they were showing some pretty good stuff. He really had it. He had it all dialed in. This guy's channel's pretty good. He was showing some stuff earlier. Let me see if I can find it. All right, here we go. There it is. There it is right there. All righty. Folks, make sure you go check out Mr. Paramount Tactics. Great channel. I've been watching him for a couple weeks now. And there it is, folks. Now watch this guy up here. All right, let me post it. Did I post this chat? Post this channel. See the guy lifted his hand up. Boom. Looks like he's got something right there. Takes a shot. Yeah, that's true. I've seen that. It does look like he was holding the phone. This guy in the white shirt was holding the phone, but he don't have no phone no more. And his hands go up like it's a recoil. That's true. Now you can see one of the bullets or the fragments come through here. And that hole in his neck probably was an exit hole. Now, how good was he? How good of a shot was this guy? He could have put that bullet right in his air hole. You wouldn't even know you wouldn't even know that there was an entry route. Put it right down his air hole. All right, let's check out something else here real quick. All right. Now, what does it look like to me? Well, it looks like to me there's a giant hole in his air, and that's why it blew his mic right out of his air. Look at the size of his air hole. Well, let's continue to watch this a little bit. What do you see? What did you just see? What do I see? I see a hole right underneath his air or in his air. And the guy's right that said that. You wouldn't see an entry. Well, that's true. Depending on what they were using. Some people did say it sounded like a 22. It did, depending on where you were. It sounded like a pellet gun, depending where you were. Could a pellet gun do damage like that? Yeah. I was just watching something on an air gun, all compressed air, and at like 10 feet, it blew a watermelon to pieces just from air, condensed compact air. It sounded like a weapon going off, but it was just air. Could that do that? Yeah. Yeah, but it probably would have done more damage. I'm thinking it's a small cow. What am I seeing? I'm seeing already something coming out of his air. Whether it's blood trickling out, whatever, I don't know. Let's continue a little bit here. Oh, oh, right there. Look how black it is. Look at that. You can clearly see something there, very dark. Now, whether that's a hit, they put it right in his air hole, and it went in, ricocheted, it came out his neck from an upper trajectory coming down. I don't know if you can see my. Well, actually, it'd be way over here, but upper coming down. Boom! It hits his cheekbone and ricochets off and comes out his neck. Possibly, you could have a bullet sitting around out there somewhere. I hope they brought a metal detector out there. It could be in the ground. It could be anywhere. It could be lodged in concrete. It could have came out, hit something, and fragmented again. Who knows? But yeah, it seems like his before he moves, people were saying, "Oh, well, that's his ear piece came out because he started moving over and it yanked his earpiece." I don't think so. I think it blew. I think they put it right in his ear, maybe, or right behind his ear. Possibly. Anything is possible. You can clearly see. Let's watch it. Oh, right there. Right there, it looks like something. That's that's darker than his hair and everything. That could be a small caliber that they put it right in his ear. Blew his it blew his earpiece out maybe, or right under his ear, which that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, because I do see something that looks like an entry wound. Now the dang YouTube's locking up. No, no. Yeah, it does look like, so it ain't changing. It's not changing color. It's very dark, very, and that makes sense. It wouldn't bleed there yet because it cauterized it, probably hot, maybe. You know, I do believe when he does tilt all the way over and his head's back, it does look like he starts trickling out blood from that area. anything's possible. They could have hit him with 2 calibers. One to distract everybody. Small caliber, it bounces off his chest or whatever. If he had armor. And the main shooter seen that it didn't hit, and the other shooter took a shot. And I imagine how do you get so many people that look like this guy, the shooter? How do you get 4 or 5 guys that look like him or dressing? You know, how I don't know. In that area, that's too much of a coincidence. Something's up. And yeah, there could have been 2 shooters there. If it was professional, even if it wasn't professional government, and these guys were all ex-military or refugee, whatever, fugitive fighters or whatever. What's the best thing to do? Well, he's not walking out of there alive, so you're going to have a couple shooters. What does it look like to me? Looks like there's a hole in the side of his head. That's what it looks like to me. And I'm no professional. Yeah, before he even leans back or anything. Well, I'm sorry, that just looks like his ear's up here, but there's a hole here. I also see something right here, right under his earlobe. Right under his earlobe. Maybe. And they're saying his face does look swollen automatically. When he gets hit, his face swells up. So, maybe they did hit him from behind and from the front. Possibly. We really won't know until they're all done. I want to slow it down some more. Playback speed, normal. All right, I'm slowing it down. Folks, make sure you go over and check out Mr. Paramount Tacticals. A lot of these people are breaking it down now. That new. All right, let's check it out. I got it on real slow motion, so we should be able to see it. Right, it already looks like to me they got him in the air. That black hole is just way too black, and it ain't good. When he moves his head and whatever, that black hole is staying there. It looks like something's up with his with his with his cranial around his. You see his hairline? It's like a hair. It's like his brain. The pressure. Hold on. Let me see something here. Let me see if I can pass forward this. All right, here we go. Now, I'm seeing that black mark, but when he starts moving back, right here, right behind his earlobe, that might be. That would explain his face. That would explain his face swelling up like that on that side. That black hole ain't going nowhere. It's right there. And then you see a little bit of something behind it, behind the ear when he turns his head, like blood or something. So maybe that's from the earpiece being yanked out of his ear. Maybe, and he's moving upwards. This is crazy. Did it come from low? Did it come from high? Who knows? What's this guy here? This guy right in front of him with his arm out. He's smiling. Wow. Wow. All right. Let's see what else we can see. I don't know. That could be a piece of his air. You see that? They're saying that might be a bullet that just flew from here to there, but I think it's a bug or maybe part of his earbud or whatever it was. Now, as you can see, there's a device right behind Charlie, and it's angled down. It's got a wire running from the. It's got a wire running from the behind the tent. Now, whether that's a camera, microphone system, whatever, not sure yet. Probably a camera or something. There's going to be a lot better footage than this, folks. If that's a camera, what is that? If it's not a camera, what is it? Is my question. And it's got a wire running from it, and it's tucked up behind the thing there. So, what is it? I don't know. Is it a camera, microphone? I don't know. But let me tell you something. I've looked at a lot of videos and researched a lot of stuff of what can be turned into a weapon, and these people saying, "Oh, you're crazy. You're crazy," right? You don't know what you're talking about. Well, I do, because they do have movie cameras uh, that the government created, CIA, whatever you want to call it, that look just like a movie camera. Who's crazy now? So yeah, very well could be something like that. We don't know. We don't know. We can speculate. What does it look like to me here? I'm gonna be honest. Either he's got real dirty ears, or he's got a hole right there. That's where he got hit. His eyes are closed. He gets hit. You can see his face swell up dramatically right here. You see this bone pop out right here. You see that? Looks like it just, this is all swollen. And could it travel right down, come out his neck? Probably, if it hit something in there. All right, hold on a minute, folks.
Together, your love turned the whole world on its head. And all the while, you were watching clothes dry. Audible. There's more to imagine when you listen.
Whatever you thought about it.
All right, I'm back. Okay, so what's it look like to me is something's going on right there in that area. For some reason, I don't know if his airbud got yanked out of his ear, causing that, or he got clipped there. And what we're seeing is this bulge out the side here is an entry wound, a shock wave that did something. I'm trying to catch this camera here to see what this is behind him. Let's see what he does. That's what it looks like. It blew his earpiece, right? Don't know. It looks like to me, maybe it's possible. That does look like a vapor trail or something. Right there, that line. Maybe. Well, they might be right. We don't know. We're just YouTube couch potatoes. Does it make sense that there'd be more than one person there? Yeah. If they wanted to show, if they wanted to make an example or show somebody what their capabilities, right? If they wanted to show their capabilities of what it can do or what's supposed to be done, it's possible what they're saying. Tyler Robinson was just a potsy. Well, that's true too. Let me see if I can see any other footage on this. Oh, I heard when I was over there at this guy's Jimmy Kimmel suspended from ABC, pulls off his show. Well, you made tons of money, so I wouldn't be crying about it. I wouldn't. But you're not me, Mr. Kimmel. So hold on, I'm looking to see anything else. 5 cops shot, 3 dead. New York or in York County, Pennsylvania. Well, I told you, something's going on. They're just tired of it. I imagine pretty soon, why did Tyler Robinson kill Kurt? Trump exploits Antifa. Crazy. It's gone crazy. All right, we'll be looking for more footage I want to know what these things were behind him. If there's things behind him, let me show you. Now this is this guy hitting. This is him doing an experiment, and he hits a piece of a giant piece of meat, because animal flesh is just like human. So he does this thing where he sets up this big ham hock, puts one through it so we can see an entry wound and an exit wound. Well, you can't even see the entry wound after it goes through the skin. Skin closes up behind it. Yeah. So there's the entry wound. It don't even look. It don't. There's not even a hole there. But that's the entry wound. So am I seeing something like that on Mr. Kurtz? Well, I believe I am, behind his ear, but it could have been they got him right down the hole, right down his ear. That's possible too. I'm sorry, I'm eating some pizza. Don't ever give that broad the keys to anything. Crazier than a cuckoo bird. All right, let's continue to go forward here. That's the entry wound. You can't even see it. Let's see the exit wound. Look at behind it. Just a giant hole. Wow. So yeah, what we're seeing, could it be? Could it be a exit wound? That could be a small caliber. Yeah. Even a 22 leaves a bigger hole coming out than it does going in. Well, it might be what they're saying, and depending on whether it was a 22 or not, or an assault air rifle or whatever, that's lead or whatever. It's softer, so when it hits you, it's going to flatten out right away, and it's going to fragment, or it's going to stay together, but it's going to be even, excuse me, bigger. It's going to be even bigger. It'll be even bigger coming out. go back to normal.
For hollow point, also 9mm. Let's take a look at the entrance versus the exit wound. And as you can see there, that entrance wound is barely visible. Now let's take a look at the slow-mo footage of the exit wound. I mean, look at that. That is massive. And if
Yeah,
we
and that
go
was with a
back
9
frame
mil.
by frame, there
So-
is massive expulsion of biological debris.
It's
There again, I
possible
want you to
we're seeing
imagine if we were also dealing with
exit
bodily
wound out
fluids
of
as
his
well.
neck.
We see spatter, we see all of those things. All right, so now we have 5.56 rifle ball ammunition. Let's take a look at the entrance versus the exit and see what we got going on here. As you can see, they shoot it twice, but let's just go back to the very first shot and see the terminal effects of that impact. Folks, look at the projection of material with that. That is what we'd expect from a rifle exit wound. I mean, it is so obvious. There's no confusing an exit wound with an entrance wound. There just isn't. It is extremely obvious. I do think that the entrance wound is peculiar, and this is where I keep going back to. It looks like we have some sort of deflection. If it turns out that there isn't body armor, that's fine. I could be completely incorrect on that. I've talked about that in the past. We definitely see some peculiar characteristics of an entrance wound, but I don't care what round you come up with or whatever else. What we're seeing is definitely not an exit wound. It's just not. So I think not only is there no evidence that that is an exit wound, I think all the evidence points to the fact that it's clearly not an exit wound. But you guys tell me what you think down in the comments below.
All right, so he's saying it's not that hole, that big hole we're seeing in his neck on the front of him is not an exit. That's an entry. Well, good God Almighty, if that's an entry hole, what size caliber did he get hit with? Because that left a massive size of a quarter, just about, or a nickel in his neck. Something big, 30-06, maybe a 8.78 or whatever it is, a bigger round, maybe. But where did it go? Is my question. Where did it go? Right. So he must have had body armor on, because getting hit in the chest with any caliber, he's not Superman. It's gonna go right through him. Especially that close. That close. And another thing, these people are, well, Tyler Robinson said he guesses. I agree with Danny. That's kind of crazy for him to be talking like that. But these people don't even realize that shot could have been taken from just using iron sights. That's how crazy these people think it. They're, Tyler said that was a great $2,000. You could have done that shot with your eyes closed with a red dot, 200 yards small, tiny little scope. You could have done that shot with iron sights. I don't know what these people. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they know something I don't know. Maybe they know something. But for one, what's the coincidence of that kid showing up to that place, and there be 2 or 3 other people that are dressed like him in that area? What's the coincidence? Someone gets shot, and you got an old man that jumps up saying he'd do it again and all this and that. What's the chances you would pick up a guy that fits the description riding a bicycle with a weapon down the road. You know, all these people in one place that look similar to him. Even the debates, the guys that were debating him. Now Tyler said he had a doppelganger that was running around causing all kinds of trouble for him. So was it the doppelganger? Was it actually the dude that was debating Mr. Kurtz 2 or 3 times that I found in the video? The same guy. The same guy twice, 3, 4 times in these debates, debating him. Very angry, very disgruntled, right? And then you got Tyler saying, no, these are people, you know, my doppelgangers that look like me running around causing trouble for him. That's crazy. You know, it all adds up, if you ask me, to something was up. Someone behind the scenes, you know, Tyler Robinson didn't even like these other guys are saying on YouTube. He didn't even have to know what was going on. All he had to do was show up there dressed like that and go on top of the roof and just to be seen. Yeah. It could have been a small caliber that he shot from. Maybe he was the diversion, right? People hear something that sounds like a small caliber behind them. Even I heard that video. I agree with these people are saying. It sounds like a small caliber, but I think that's because it depends on where you're at and the microphones that you're using. But yes, it did sound like a small caliber, or even an aerosol rifle. But the video that I'm hearing, that it's up close to Charlie, it don't sound like no small caliber. It sounds big, huge. It sounds very loud, like a 30-06, and I've shot a 30-06. They're very loud, and there's a big recoil on a 30-06 will kick. It'll kick back on you. It's a big gun. It's a hot round. If it'll kill deer and bear and everything like that, it'll drop a horse. Yeah, it's going to do massive damage. I'm surprised I think it lifted him right out of his chair. I think it lifted him completely right out of his chair, whatever it was. It hit him like a freight train. No, I don't. Like I said, I have no idea. It looks like he has body armor on, but then it don't. Then it does. Then it don't. But whatever it was, hit him pretty good. And that might have been that might have been it, right? And can I see something like that? There being more shooters than one, and one was just a diversion. And he might have took a shot, but missed. That's the bullet we're seeing that zings by. Yeah, that's true. It might have been set up like that. For these people to say it's impossible, they're nuts. These are the people that are creating this mess, that are telling you folks, it's impossible. No, it ain't impossible. And the proof is in the pudding, because Mr. Kirk's ain't here today, is he? So anything is possible. Hell, there could have been 4 or 5 shooters there. You got a guy running from there that's got a pistol in his hand and a bag with sunglasses on, running from there, right? Many weapons there. Many people there with weapons. Could have been any of them. It could have been any of them. And for these people to say it's impossible, that there was more than one shooter there, or more than one weapon, well, the proof is in the pudding, because there's 3 or 4 people that were running from there on video that looks like they had weapons. Well, I know it's the right to carry state and everything like that, but you should never allow weapons at a debate anywhere. I don't care where you live. It should be state law in America. Federal law. If you're going to have a debate, political, religious, there's got to be proper security. And another thing that is shocking me that people just ain't understanding. There ain't one ambulance there. You got 4,000 people at a debate, and there's no ambulance there in case something goes horribly wrong, someone faints in the crowd, this is a political thing that they were putting out. You got no ambulance there? Could he have made it if they had an ambulance? I don't know. Hit him in the neck and probably tore all of his artery, jugular, spinal. Probably not, but maybe a chance. Maybe. Who knows? But why wouldn't you have an ambulance there is my question. That's another thing people are, no, there ain't no ambulance. How can this be some big thing, political thing? He's got a bunch of money, he's got all, and there ain't no effing ambulance there in case something happens. Any coincidence? I don't know. Is there any coincidence that you can get on the top of the university police department and walk over to where Charlie was from on top of the buildings? Or not where Charlie was, where Tyler was. Well, let's pull that up on Google. Let's pull this up on Google. University. Can you guys see this? Let me go to it. Let me go to Google Maps so I can show these people. University, Utah Valley University Police Department is right here. If I get up here and I walk here and I jump down here and I jump back up here and I walk over here and I keep walking, where does it end up? Right where Charlie was. And I also seen somebody down here on a lower level before Charlie even got there. Or not before, but right when he was there and he started passing out hats. And he must have moved. I mean, as you can see him, you can see somebody up there when he's throwing the hats out there. The police department's right there. Right where this blue dot is, right here, is showing that that's the university police department. You can actually you can get roof to roof to roof all the way to where Charlie was. Or not Charlie, Tyler. Yeah. That's no joke. Why would I lie to these people? That's what it's showing on Google Map right there. Police department. Right there. All you had to do is walk on, jump down, jump back up, walk across the thing, go there, go there. Yeah. Crazy? Oh, yeah, it's pretty crazy. There's some people saying that the shot came from the right side, which makes sense that there'd be somebody over there. Could that shot be taken from that building? Yeah. Matter of fact, the building on the side of that was having construction done to it, and it was shut down. This building right here, this big giant building. Now, when what's his name gets there, do I see somebody? Yeah, but they're on this walkway here. They're literally standing in the middle of this walkway right here, this upper level walkway, and Charlie is throwing his hats out. Somebody is standing alone. He's by himself on this platform. And once he's seen Charlie walking in the crowd in his t-shirt, he's like, all right, we're going to do this. And that's possible. He went back up, got up there. But my question is how do you have something like this and you don't have proper security or an ambulance there? Is my question. Why is there not an ambulance there parked behind Charlie just in case something happens? Somebody in the crowd faints, somebody gets hurt, Charlie gets hurt, something. Nothing. Nobody. No ambulance, no marked police car, nothing. I'm very fishy. This whole area is accessible. Look at this. Look at all this room. You can literally go roof to roof to roof to roof to roof to where Charlie is. Literally, all these buildings connect in a giant horseshoe. Even these ones back here, even here, even this walkway, here. Right, there's 3-4 different levels there. I mean, yeah, it could have came from anywhere. You know, they have someone running off of the roof, which is Tyler. You know, did he take the shot? Was it one guy? Yeah, possibly it was one guy. Is it possible there was many people there? You know, yeah, very possible. No, if these guys were real pros, there would have been no phones. Tyler would have never showed up there with a phone. A phone is a dead giveaway. Would these guys have been able to do it without a phone? Well, the shooter wouldn't have had a phone, but the rest of the people helping him would have had a phone, his spotters or whatever. Yeah, they would have phones, but the shooter, no. No phone. Why? Because that'll put you there. And that'll put where you're at. That'll give your GPS out that, hey, there's someone, a phone coming, a ping coming from that roof. Well, professional, I don't know. Just a bunch of people got together to do something bad. Yeah, maybe. Very possible. Government, I don't know. You know, someone knew something because you got a lot of weapons there. You got too many people at the same place dressed like Tyler. Right there off the bat. If it was professional, they did it right. Small caliber took a shot, whether it bounced off him, he had his stuff on. But that big caliber, well, that big caliber got him. Maybe the big caliber got him in the front and his vest saved him. But that small caliber got him right behind the ear. Yeah, very possible. Now we're going to look at later on when I come back. We're at an hour. We're going to end this. We're going to look at a footage of the guy that's standing in the white hat, holding the phone, right behind Charlie. The one that everyone said gave a signal. He touched the top of his hat and then swiped his ear. There's a guy standing right on the side of him, up in the bleachers, that has a phone. You can see it clear as day. He has a phone. He puts the phone away and he pulls his hands back out like he has something in his hands. I don't see a flash or anything. And you hear boom. And the guy starts going back. Charlie starts moving back. Was that the guy? That's possible. Big caliber, I don't know, a 22 if you're standing next to it and have a phone. It's going to sound loud, right? The closer you are to it, the microphone's going to pick it up. Even a 22 will sound loud if you're standing next to it with a phone. Yeah, I would say so, probably. Well, what do I hear? I hear two weapons. I hear something smaller, and I hear something really big, like a 30-06. Something big, something real big. Yeah, it's possible. All set up that way. I'm not going to say no. A lot of people want to say, "Oh, you're crazy." Well, then I'm going to be crazy. But this ain't no regular thing that these people created. They created this. I didn't. I'm just doing my job as a YouTuber, looking through things. I know one thing. We got the same guy debating Charlie 3-4 times. Very angry. We know Charlie had a stalker. We know a lot of things now that has come out. Was it that guy that was debating him? I don't know. Is it a doppelganger that looks like him and sounds like him and in the same trade as Tyler? I don't know. Is that a coincidence? I'm not sure. I don't know. Is it a coincidence that you can get to where Tyler took the shot from anywhere of them buildings? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I looked around there too for a water tower. I don't see no water tower around there. So the water tower thing is out because there ain't no water tower around there. And how good do you have to be to hit 130 yards away, 140 yards away? Like I told you, folks, there's people out there that can make that shot without a scope. Without a scope. Longer than that without a scope. Just using iron sights. You got to have great vision. But is it possible? Yeah, it is possible. And anyone that tells you it's not possible are idiots, because that's what they did before scopes came out. What did they use? Iron sights. What's the longest sniper shot with iron sights? It's a lot longer than 200 yards. Yeah, it just ain't adding up. Would I believe one shooter? Yes, but get it right. You know, if they say there was one shooter, we got one entry, we got one, here's the caliber. Okay. But don't ever tell anybody that it's not possible that there was other people there, because we're seeing two different reactions out of Charlie. You know, when he's sitting in that chair and he gets hit. And it very well might have been set up like that. Right? A small one hits him from low and the big one hits him from behind, or vice versa. Yeah, very well possible. Very possible. And the other people there that caused the conversion and went crazy, yeah, they could be. It could be a diversion. There could have been other people watching Discord. There could have been people hacking his Discord and knew that he was talking about it and going to do it. And he ended up the potsy. Yep, I would believe that too. Because anything is possible. Anything. I just don't understand why these people just cannot get it through their heads that, yeah, that's very possible. His account was hacked. They knew he was going to be there, and they used him. He might have took the shot, but didn't. Right? That's what they wanted him to do, take the shot. He wasn't going to make it. He knew it. Whatever. They knew he wasn't going to hit, but that's what they needed, was a diversion for everyone to turn their head backwards to see what the heck that was. And when they did that, they hit him with the big one. Maybe. They say these professionals, it's professional because there's more than one shooter. They're going to make sure you're not leaving there alive. You're going out on the stretcher. Yeah, I believe them when they say that. I'm not an idiot. Right? I believe them. When they tell me to shut up, I shut up. And that's about it. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to sit here and tell them it's impossible. There was other people. It's impossible. Well, we got a guy walking around here. We got two guys dressed all in black with weapons in the same area. That's kind of fishy. Yeah, I would think. Possible two weapons fired or whatever. Yeah, it's possible. Well, here's the thing. That's like a concert hall. If you got where Charlie was and clapped your hand, you'd probably hear echo throughout that whole thing. And the reverb is incredible. The echo is incredible. It's natural reverb. So that gun might have sounded like a pellet gun somewhere far away if you were standing by Charlie. But if you were standing next to Charlie, it sounded like a cannon going off. Yeah. Because the sound comes, the compression comes. What does it do? It bounces off of them buildings and back into the crowd, right? It just bounces off everywhere there. I bet you that place would have been incredible to have a small acoustic gathering, like a Alice in Chains playing there or something acoustically. That would have been beautiful. It would have sounded beautiful. Probably would have sounded beautiful there to have bands come and play there acoustically, because it's all concrete and buildings and everything. The sound probably just sounded beautiful. Natural reverb is what they call it. I mean, there's guys that pay 50, 60 grand, 100 grand, 200 grand for reverb tanks. Like Abbey Road had reverb tanks. The sound would just, it just echo forever, just forever. So yeah, I believe it. I believe it. It could have been one shooter, but with all the repercussions and the reverb and the echoing, it made it sound like there was two. Yeah, I would believe that too. Why? Because anything is possible, especially when it comes to sound. There ain't too much faster than sound, except for the speed of light. So yeah, it makes sense to me. All of it, every scenario or theory that these people are putting out, people are saying, "Well, that's horrible. That's disgusting," but they're excellent theories. Why? Because it is actually possible that happened. Every single one of these guys throwing up these theories and speculations, there are none bad, because they're all actually plausible, feasible, and doable. Now, that makes sense, because look at the Kennedy shooting. There was people that said they seen 2 or 3 flashes. Right? Yeah. Yeah. There was someone on the grassy knoll up there behind the building. There was someone up in the building. There was someone lower that was on the bridge where straight on Kennedy was coming. Well, yeah. Yeah. Triangular shot. Yeah. Go check out Jim Sutton's channel, folks. Mr. Jim Sutton. Uh, Great interview. He claimed he's the one that took Kennedy out with a fireball behind the. He was up behind. He was on the behind the fence by the grassy knoll. Uh, Go check him out. The guy, Jim Sutton, is his name, and the Suttons. He's from Chicago, Illinois, and at that time, the Suttons were a big name in Chicago. Yeah. So go check out his channel. He'll explain of what's done. You'll have 4 or 5 shooters on a job. Go listen to him. Jim Sutton, the guy that claims he's the one that hit Kennedy. That there was many people there. Also, Lee Harvey Oswald, which Jim Sutton knew Lee Harvey Oswald. And Jim Sutton claims there was 3 or 4 shooters or something like that day at that thing in Houston that day, at that hit. And I believe it. They were going to make sure he wasn't leaving. So, yeah, I believe it. All right, folks, I will be back with some more info on this. And remember, keep an open mind, because anything is possible unless science proves it's not. anything's possible. You could have 20 with 4,000 people there. You could have 20 shooters there. I'm just being realistic, and it's the right to carry state, even on the property of a school. After everything that's going on, you're telling me they didn't have a lockdown or anything? You got all these people shooting up the schools. You know you got a high target client that's gonna be at the college speaking and everything, and it just ain't adding up to me, man. You got no ambulance. You got what, 10 cops there? I watched the thing. They said they had 10 cops there, 6 in clothes or 6 in police uniform, and the others were out unclothed within the crowd. And you had 10 cops there, 4,000 people almost, and no ambulance, and no police car parked where all the people can see it to let them know, hey, we're here, watch them. No drones. There's one drone flying around, but I don't think it's. I think it's way in the back, way in the distance. I don't think it's up close, and I don't think it's a police drone, because they would have been on them in a heartbeat. For one, they would have been high enough where they would have been able to see every roof and the slightest move. Them drones today are set up with motion detection. If anything would have moved, that drone would have seen it and been on it. Numerous mistakes. And that's just my opinion, folks. That's it. Do I know any of this to be true? No. I'm just voicing my opinion from the things I've researched on YouTube, researching myself, watching a lot of documentaries, forensic stuff, and stuff like that. I watch a lot of that. So I'm going to end this. I'll be back with some more content. Make sure you check out Paramount Tactics. Make sure you check out Danny, or Heavy Duty Country. Make sure you check out all these channels. They're great. Check out Police Off the Cuff, Gray Hughes, JLR. Check them all out. They're all great channels. I put them in my chat and description. Go check them out. I'll be back.